Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the MCN, collection of news and information from the last few days, including stuff that kabam decided to post in various different places you probably didn't know about they were talking. So let's get into the MCN, shall we? Starting off with upcoming changes to AQ raids. This one probably got swept under the carpet. You may not know that kabam actually mentioned this. So what is happening? On Monday, the 26th of August, the enlistment time, and of course when raid starts on September 2nd, which should be today, there's going to be an improvement for raids, roll gates, and stuff like that. So the improvements are enlistments should not affect, but we recommend checking them in case they are disrupted. We are dropping a small update to the raid map for 46.0. With it, you will no longer be able to traverse down the wrong path to pick up a roll boost. If you don't match the roll for the lane, this will be permanent change within the mode. We've added a roll gate to each lane before each roll boost pick up. This will help prevent players from accidentally going down the wrong path and selecting a roll boost that doesn't work for them. Which of course you can see that's how it how it works right now. Let's blow this up a little bit to this. That's how it's gonna work for that one. It's also a bit more kind of like you can see right here, like you're just gonna hit it, and you have to be the specific role to take it on. If you meet the gate requirements, gate node will be highlighted in green. If not, it will be highlighted in red. The image below, of course, illustrates that, which you can see right there. So that's good. So, you know, if you're green to go because you are whatever this is for it. So yeah, rewards buff, nope, nothing. Wednesday, it's changed to Monday. Anyway, so that's happening. Why can't you have your say on kabam's rebalancing? Well, that's a question a lot of people would want to answer. I mean, look, the quite simple answer is people would make new threads regardless. Don't know why people disagree, because if you go and search certain things that kabam have discussed, there's multiple threads created on it. If kabam do a news and announcement, there's always multiple threads that are created from that. And whether or not that's better or worse, I do think, and I do like the idea of people being able to talk on something like as a topic, but it's in collecting that, like kabam then bring in and they merge threads of other things when they come into discussion. Of course, the response from kabam as to why they indeed do it the way they do is, so focus for the thread has shifted slightly, but just to address the original question, there's sort of two answers. First of all, it's a news and announcement post which locks the comments. They need to go in that category for visibility so everybody sees it. That said, the second part of the answer is that just how it's been done previously. I'm open to feedback on ways we can do it better, but to that point that we said, folks would likely make new threads regardless, because yeah, they would. And whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing is that we've kind of taken in this funneling people to one place to make a, this is why the Discord's always a bit of a tricky one, because everything would be love to be put into general, but it needs to create separate channels for it to basically put in discussion. If someone says, I don't agree with this serpent change or non-serpent change, or the fact that Destroy is not getting an attack-based boost, then it needs to be us as community people coming in to discuss like why we think it's a good idea, why it's a bad idea, why it, you know, kabam need to really think about things before they do stuff and stuff like that. But that needs to go into at least a structured dialogue so it can then be fed back to the developer, because as a lot of us know from the stuff that we cover here with the MCN, kabam crashed. Other members of kabam will take, well, I don't know if the community team are doing as good a job with it, taking that discussion to the game team to go, look, this is what our players are saying in this thread. But if it was like, oh, people are talking on the balance thing, like, would we get a fair, could we do more? That's another question. Should we have polls within changes that are good or bad for the game so people get to like talk more? And that's always a difficulty, because kabam will always dictate the way they want to have the game played out by you, the player. But they do take, to a degree, your feedback in mind. Always a very tricky one, and yes, I think everything's always open for improvement and dissection. Speaking of which, speaking of discussion with the community, Quake. 6-star Quake, 7-star Quake. For a lot of people that know of Quake over the years, she has been used as a complete powerhouse for damage dealing. And of course, will we ever see a 6-star version or a 7-star version? Quick answer no, long answer no. All jokes aside, kabam have responded to this particular thread. Even like Kabam Mike back a little while ago said no. Dave says, I'll bump the game team on this one. As far as I know, there's no plans for a 6 or 7 star Quake, which you must think at some stage they've got to put in a 6 star Quake. Like where the game gets to 7, so it gets to 8 stars, they've got to consider it. I think that's when you'll get it. When you'll get a 6 star Quake will be, I reckon, in some kind of like crazy, maybe banquet event 2026, and because people would want that champion, that should be there as a premium. Kabam make a bit of money off of it? Don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's been a bit too harsh. And Kabam Crash has basically dispelled any kind of like hope that players might have. The hope would be, I'd say, assume it's never happening unless you hear otherwise from us. There's no plans and no intentions to make plans. There you go. It's dead. 6 star and 7 star Quake is dead. It ain't happening anytime soon. It ain't happening, people. Optimism is kind of washed to the side. What's happening with all those reworks Kabam said they were going to do? Well, if you remember this video right here, the video that I put out on the channel a little while ago, Grand Banquet Event 2024, promo code, new reworks and more. So in this particular video, I talked about Kabam from Vega's live stream saying, hey, we're going to do some more reworks to an extensive amount. Lots of reworks were kind of teased. And you might be wondering to yourself, as I was, like, where's the further info? We had the live stream. What's happening with that? Like, surely we would have that announced. And of course, you know, Show Enough says exactly like in the Vega chat. Then the live stream gives us nada. So of course that wasn't announced. But yeah, Sentinel has got to be one of them. He was featured in the Saga video. Doesn't mean to say that's true, because then Deadpool X-Force was in that and he hasn't been reworked. So maybe yes, maybe no, or maybe these were all the champions with it except for Spiral and Count Nevaria and Herbie are to be reworked, not reworked, whatever reworked, and that's the tease. Anyway, Karate Mike, patience you must have, my young Padawan. But of course, we like a bit of like from the source. And from the source is Kabam Crash, who says, I'm glad you're all excited, but all will be revealed in time. Because I'm sure people will watch the live stream going, what's going to be reworked? Well, I'd love to see this champion, that champion reworked, but didn't hear anything. It's still on the cards. Hopefully we find out in the coming weeks. And it may be months, but I would say if we've not got a tease at some point, maybe we're going to get it in the next live stream that Kabam put out. Or maybe it's kind of like a roadmap for the year of next year or something. We'll have to see. Exciting times are still ahead. The story we're going to go on to today is the state of arenas. Now, I haven't had enough time to farm in arena as much as I'd like to. Usually I just do like units, milestones and stuff like that, because that's something that I kind of feel like, oh, I need to do it, but I don't spend in games, so I need to do it. But I haven't had time because we've been trying to do this new house project, which will probably be done by the end of November. So it's still taking a lot of my extra and free time doing this, and also Marvel Rival stuff, and also like the videos, like content wise, and the day job. So it's like just trying to balance things and finding extra time is a bit tricky at the moment. And also Battlegrounds, I'm going to have to ramp up a lot more. So I'm hoping when I take this little break in September, I get to kind of focus in on farming more units. But we'll have to see how the time goes. And this is a very busy time. Anyway, arena in general, farming it easier nowadays? Well, look, that's going to be a big thing for people. Bonuses, if there are 7-star arena and Catalyst arena above. Now, I don't know what the lay of the land is. I'd love to see more changes to arena, especially the Catalyst arena, Sunday's arenas, and also what a 7-star arena would likely have. Unless Kabam want to allow it for like easier farming, it depends how you want to look at the state of arena as to farming, as to what you get back from it. Different people have different thoughts of like how quickly we should get units in arena. Is it easier? Is it harder? Now, I need to get back to farming arena to get a bit of an idea of what it's like. Is it easy? Is it not? Summoner Trials finds me like an easier way to go grab stuff. Getting arena boost do help, but I need to do a bit of testing. I think in September when I take my little break, And I want to test out some farming things, like farming units, farming this or that, just so I can get down in the trenches with everybody and figure out, you know, what we're fighting for, how we're fighting for, the time invested, and stuff like that. But Kabam Crash does a response to this about State of Arena, saying the primary way Arena rewards are tuned is based on the amount of time it takes a player with a developed roster to reach the various milestones. Over the past few years, we've reason to believe the amount of time has decreased meaningfully since the last time rewards were updated. I don't know how much, we haven't done a detailed internal investigation, but I think it would be fair to assume it's pretty significant. So if we did update we did an update to Arena rewards, we would almost certainly be increasing the milestone thresholds in a 6-star arena substantially. Arena yields units. The most important rewards are really favourable to players right now. This is definitely to be careful what you wish for item for players. Yes, that's a good enough answer, but also there's some other kind of things as well that fall into it. With Kabam bumping up the extent of units required to get certain things in game, and I'm talking more like deals, because Kabam has there's a bit of a disjointed element as to how, say, non-spending players access things like deals. I mean, Baby Group below, that does actually make a good point to say, I feel like units have devalued with top holiday rewards costing 36k instead of 18 or 21k, because there were times when that's the case. Like 21,000 units or even 18,000 units was enough for any non-spending player or a low minnow, a small whale, so to speak, like a baby whale, to get at least something back that was resembling of progress versus what it is now. I'm not saying it is or isn't, I'm just saying that you have to spend about 21k to get this threshold of stuff. But if you wanted something like, I don't know, a rank up gem, tier 4 alphabet, and maybe a rare champion, you'd have to put in about 36k if you wanted a Weapon X. And look, but by the way, that's changing over the year. So that particular point was kind of correct about, I don't know, 3 months ago. But that changed with the July 4th deals and the devaluation. As soon as we get to the Cyber Weekend deals, then things are going to be costing less, but still there will be the 36k chase, which a lot of the time that'll be rooted in, you know, a solo event. We also have to consider what the web store side of things would be, taking stuff over there versus being able to access from a non-spending standpoint. Either way, if we had a 7-star arena, I think that Kabam would increase the milestones, but would they be favourable for how the basic arena looks, or the featured arena? Probably not. And if those change with 7-star champions going into the arena, I think that people will be farming a lot higher and not necessarily getting it back in a more timely fashion. It will take you longer, which isn't exactly positive. It's more of a negative. Either way, would we like to see an improvement to Arena? Yes. Are we getting it? It looks highly unlikely. Anyway, that has been the show for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out some other content which will be located on screen right now. And I'll see you all in the next video, whatever that will be talking about. Or, yeah, whatever we'll be talking about. I don't know. Cheers. Bye-bye.